Welcome, Spiritual Mag. My name is Sam Bell. So, St. Joseph City. St. Joseph City? Yes. Every true revolution begins invisibly as a change in consciousness. So, St. Joseph City, the awakening of a new San Jose, California. Okay. Well, I was born in 1949, the old San Jose Hospital, where the intersection of highways 87 and 280 and now weave over what was once sacred ground. But, beneath that concrete knot still sleeps the memory of orchards. I was there. The perfume of apricots and the laughter of families who once knew their neighbors by name. hmm San Jose was a garden back then, a fertile womb of gentle soil, sweet water, and a climate so temperate. It seemed heaven itself had leaned close to bless the valley. It was once the capital, not merely of a state, but of a spirit, a living rhythm of community and kindness. Our city's rich history and spirit are the foundation on which we can build a consciousness, compassionate future. When I was a boy, San Jose still breathed like a small town. 6 hamburgers cost $1 at the corner burger bar. The milkman waved. The bread truck came by every few days. My father paid for the groceries on the Alameda with a written check. And Sister Mary Francina warned us never to buy candy cigarettes, a tiny rebellion against limitation vice. At least for me, life had structure, grace, and a moral texture. We lived in the slow cadence of just enough. That rhythm has long been disrupted. The city has risen in steel and fallen in spirit. I have watched its arc, the sprouting, the bloom, the ripening, and the rot. Safeway grew upward, glittering with ambition, yet the higher its skyline rose, the dimmer its inner light became. The same orchards that once bore fruit now bear glass and circuitry. The same soil that fed generations lies beneath parking lots and office towers dreaming of roots. It's time for a consciousness-based renewal, loved ones. A transformation that will bring back the spirit and light to our city. This renewal is not about physical structures, but about a collective awakening to the interconnectedness of all life. A shift in the perspective that can guide our actions and guide our decisions towards a more compassionate and sustainable future. And yet, the soil remembers. Beneath the concrete pulse of freeways and data centers, beneath the humming servers and glowing screens, the essence of St. Joseph, the city's namesake, still lingers. He was a man of quiet devotion, a craftsman shaping not empires, but holiness in the humble. His teachings were simple but his purpose eternal, to nurture, to build, to protect. That same archetype of sacred care waits in the hidden heart of this city, ready to rise again if we let it. San Jose must lead the way, and each of us as residents, leaders, innovators, and spiritual seekers has a crucial role to play in this our journey. For those in these new states of consciousness, now emerging in small, trembling beginnings, are the early blossoms of the new San Jose, one that exists not merely as a city, but as a state of being. It must be the first to model wholeness, to model human wholeness, to weave technology and tenderness into one living tapestry. St. Joseph, the capital of Silicon Valley, must become the capital of consciousness. A model of wholeness and awakening that we all have a part in realizing. This transformation will not only restore the city's spirit, but also foster a more harmonious and fulfilling life for all its inhabitants, integrating technology, beauty, and wonder into the urban landscape to serve humanity. Loved one, every transistor, every algorithm, every innovation has an unseen echo, a vibration that either harmonizes with the soul or fractures it. The challenge of our age is to bring the soul back into the circuit, to embed empathy into design, to code compassion into architecture, to engineer not only devices, but destinies that serve the greater unity. For everything, every thought, every breath, every intention interacts across subtle planes of the universe beyond the purely physical. Yes. The deeper our service to others, the more we realize that separation is an illusion. The quantum and the spiritual are two languages describing one field. The mystic knows this through direct experience. The scientist glimpses it through entanglement. In both, we find the whisper of truth. We are one. Yes, loved one, we are one. When humanity serves itself, it collapses into entropy. When humanity serves others, it ascends. This law, older than Scripture, encoded in the geometry of galaxies, is the architecture of awakening. San Jose must become its living exemplar. Loved one, let the innovators of this valley rediscover that creativity is sacred when it uplifts the whole. Let the engineers remember that every design affects consciousness, that light and shadow travel in the same code. Let the technologists of tomorrow learn that intelligence without compassion is not wisdom, but entropy in disguise. The orchards once taught this through their seasons. Each tree mirrored the cycle of the soul: growth, bloom, fruit, decay, renewal. The sweetness of the peach whispered patience. The endurance of the walnut taught strength. Even the fallen fruit served the soil. So too must we learn that no act of service is wasted. Every kindness enriches the field of life itself. Loved one, the redemption of San Jose will not come from vertical expansion or digital dominance, but from the inward flowering of consciousness. The next Renaissance will not be written in code, but in compassion, not in the syntax of profit, but in the poetry of purpose. The instruments of our salvation are not tools of industry. The instruments of salvation are instruments of awareness. When the young use their brilliance for service rather than applause, when the elders offer guidance instead of grievance, when innovation aligns with the ethics of care, then the old San Jose, the St. Joseph City of Spirit, will be reborn. We stand now at the threshold between two paradigms, one mechanical, the other luminous. The old paradigm measures progress by accumulation. The new will measure it by integration. The old sought control, the new seeks coherence. The old built machines, the new awakens meaning. In this awakening, San Jose must again become a teacher, not of technology alone, but of tenderness. Loved one, this world is hungry for a model of civilization that heals rather than harvests, that unites rather than divides. The soul of St. Joseph City can offer that. A fusion of craft and compassion, labor and love, science and spirit. Imagine a San Jose where public art reminds citizens of the sacred geometry of life, where schools teach emotional literacy alongside digital literacy, where urban planners design not only for efficiency, but for beauty, for silence, and for wonder. This is not a utopian dream, but a vision of a city where the integration of technology and tenderness leads to a more harmonious and fulfilling life for all its inhabitants. This is not a fantasy, but a calling. Loved one, every epoch begins with a whisper. The earliest Gnostic Christians gathered in hidden rooms. The first quantum theorists were dismissed as dreamers. Every true revolution begins invisibly as a change in consciousness. The shift is already happening. There are engineers quietly coding for compassion right now. Artists exploring the numinous in light and sound, and young visionaries speaking of ecology as sacred reciprocity. These are the seedlings of the new San Jose, humble, radiant, unstoppable. But we also recognize the challenges and potential resistance to change. Yet, with our collective effort and determination, we can overcome these obstacles and bring about transformation that our city needs. In this new epoch, prosperity will be measured not by GDP, but by GCP, gross collective presence. The wealth of a society will be in the coherence of its consciousness. Its economy will be empathy. Its currency, awareness. Saint Joseph himself, were he to walk these streets, possibly again, would recognize the skyline but also recognize the hunger for wholeness, the hunger for meaning, the hunger for connection. His hands once shaped wood would now shape hearts. His silence would be the same gentle authority that reminds us, build not just with matter, but with mindfulness. Protect not only the home, but the soul. Labor not for possession, but for participation in the divine. Loved one, we are each apprentices in that workshop. Our tools are the ability to focus, willpower, and unconditional love energies. Perhaps in some luminous future dawn, after the neon has dimmed and the algorithms have quieted, the valley will remember its authentic voice, a voice that speaks through wind and water and the human pulse beneath the pavement. Feed one another, and you will never go hungry. Love one another, and you will never be alone. Awaken one another, and you will never die. This is the fruit worth planting, the harvest of consciousness. Let San Jose lead the way. Let this valley of silicon become a valley of light. And when we serve others and elevate our collective awareness, we discover what was true all along. We are not separate beings building a city. We are one consciousness becoming whole. You and all your loved ones are always in my prayers. Samuel Joseph Bell, civilian journalist, spiritualmag.org.